now 7 p.m. So, all right, it's 7 p.m. So we will call to order the Town of Farragut Visual Resources Review Board meeting for April 2022. So the first item on the agenda this evening is to approve the minutes from our previous meeting, which was March 2022. Is there any discussion, questions, comments from the board regarding those minutes?
I have none.
All right. If there's none, do we have a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
A motion by Ms. Stowe and a second by Alderman Pinchot. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move down to the ground mounted sign applications. And our first sign application is for Great Clips at 137 Brooklawn Street, which is one of the multi-tenant ground mounted signs. So with that, if you would fill us in.
All right, this sign you guys actually looked at last month. And the staff recommends approval on it. There's not a whole lot to this one.
Yeah, I do think we looked at it last month and pretty much said it looked good to us, but we couldn't vote on it last month, so.
I think the only thing we said then was make sure there weren't any changes, and it doesn't look like there's any changes from what I see there. Okay.
It was the same artwork from last time, and they have already installed it, so.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
All right, we got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Oh.
I'll second. We'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Marlowe, a second by Ms. Stowe. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so the second Great Clips sign, I think it's really the same deal. It's just on the other.
Yes, this
Other
one's just
panel.
at the other end.
All right, so do we have a motion on it?
For approval.
Motion approved by Alderman Pinchot. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Marlowe. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, so moving down to Elkmont Station, 103 South Campbell Station Road in the Farragut Gateway Center.
Okay, well, this one, it's an individual tenant panel sign. This one is for the South Campbell Station Road frontage. The width of the font used on the panel is narrow and affects legibility. Staff recommends the applicants increase the font width and, if necessary, limit the sign to just the business name to improve the legibility and effectiveness of the panel. The sign company did submit an alternate version of the sign after the deadline, and it just had the business name on it. It is much more legible. The sign company did mention that their client prefers the panel with the I'm pretty sure they're antlers, but they call it antlers or tree on the K because that's part of their logo. And this is the alternate option with just the name.
Well, I mean, obviously, that's very easy to read, and that is one of the things that they want. In order to put you said antlers is what they're calling it?
Yes, I
The
believe they're
tree.
antlers because it's Elkmont, so.
Okay.
elk.
I mean, I guess they could still do that. It would make the letters shorter, but they could still be spread across, I would think. So.
Yeah, I know Bart was talking with them and he mentioned that maybe they could do that and take off the crafty food and drink section from the tenant panel because it made it harder to see all of that on a tenant panel, and just maybe doing the Elkmont Station with the antlers.
Were they okay with removing the crafty food and drink?
They prefer to have it this way, is what I've been told, is with the crafty food and drink and the antlers.
Put up the revised.
They
again.
did submit this second one with just the Elkmont Station.
Well, that is so much clearer, so much easier to read from a distance.
But you wouldn't know what they were. I mean, it's not a name that you wouldn't know what they were there for.
This one
point.
is also a building that, because it's at the Starbucks building or the Farragut Gateway up there, so their signs are right up on the road for the main restaurant. And it actually says Elkmont Station and then Crafty Food and Drink under it, or at least the sign that was approved for it does.
I'm sorry.
I mean, the wall-mounted sign.
For their wall sign, yes.
Oh, the wall mounted.
It does say the food and drink on it?
A wall mounted, it does.
Did
Yeah,
we
I like-
approve that?
I don't remember seeing it.
Well, it's a wall sign, so it just
It's a
goes
wall
through the
sign.
town.
But you gotta, it's on Kingston Pike, so when you turn in, you know it's gonna be a.
Well,
food and
part of it's
drink.
on Campbell Station, and the other part's on the parking lot, because this is the building that's right next to Starbucks.
But the wall mount does have crafty food and drink as part of it, so I like
Yes.
the one that just says Elkmont Station, personally.
I agree.
Well, I hate that backwards K. Why are they doing the backwards K? That would make me feel like I was having a visual problem.
Just part of their logo.
That's part of the logo.
So the sign that's on the wall, or is it up yet? I didn't pay attention to that.
It's not up yet.
Okay, I didn't think the sign that's going up on the wall looks like the original submission, right? It says, it has the antlers, it has the,
Yes, it has the
Crafty.
antlers on the logo. And underneath it says crafty food and drink.
And that's the one you see from the road.
Yes.
That's on the building.
It's on the building. They have two sides because they're up by the road, so they have one on the Campbell Station side and then one on their parking lot side.
You wouldn't see them from Kingston Pike.
Right.
well, and tell you, the way that building is set up there, those wall-mounted signs are what you really look at more than, to me, more than the ground-mounted sign, because of the way that building's set up, and it's very easy to see those, but from coming down Kingston Pike, you're probably not gonna look over there as much, because you're going fast. So, I mean, I think this one's much easier to read than the other one. But I could see why they would want the other one to match what's on the wall.
Go back to the previous one. That crafty food and drink, if those words were stacked, I'll go up to the revised one, but if those three words were stacked,
Well, this one, if you're looking at these pictures, the one that we're looking at is the South Campbell Station road frontage, and it does have it stacked on that smaller picture there.
oh, there you go,
Because they
right.
have both of their pictures on the same sheet.
That's the one you see from the road. That's the one I would look for and
This
know
is-
what it was for.
This is Kingston Pike, this is Campbell Station.
Right, because the Campbell Station sign is smaller than the Kingston Pike sign is.
But what I was thinking is the way it's stacked here on the smaller sign, the one on Campbell Station, if you go to the revised drawing, if they were to move this over a little bit, I wonder if they could stack small letters.
Isn't that what they did there on
Yeah,
this?
well, not here, but on the small one, that's what they did there.
Yeah.
Are you talking about doing it in both places, stacking,
I'm sorry.
stacking in both signs, at both signs?
Yeah, I think, I mean, as long as we can keep the letters as big as they are.
Yeah.
If you go, again, go to the newest one, the revised one. See, on this big sign, the one on the left, if that was to be moved over, could they get those small letters stacked to the right of it? What's your thoughts on that? Is there, you feel that would dilute the clarity of this, right, what they've got here right now? Or do you think it would work to have those words on Kingston Pike on the big sign to the right stacked for the business, to help the business?
I think they need to have the food and crafty food or whatever it was, that needs to be on the one on Kingston Pike. And I think that they could, if they moved that Elkmont station over, they could stack it and do it that way and make it bigger letters. What do you think?
How quickly do they need a decision on this?
I'm not sure about that one.
Do we want to make a suggestion, or?
I think ultimately, it's their choice what words they put on there. Ultimately, ours is just the legibility part of it. And so I think we can certainly make a suggestion on that. The issue, I think, to me, is more about the antlers, because that's what makes the letters so small.
I'm saying leave the antlers off.
Right. So if we if the antlers are not there and the words are taller, then I have no problem with stacking Crafty Food and Drink over there, and personally. Because I agree, I don't think you would just know what this is without it.
Exactly. Because I had a hard time remembering what this was called, because Elmont Station, it just didn't register. I knew it was a restaurant bar type thing, mainly a bar, but Elmont just wouldn't stick with me. But I think if you see Elmont Station with Crafty Food and Drink beside it, okay, it's gonna help. All we're trying to do is help the business.
Now, this one is for the South Campbell Station roadside, so it is the smaller sign, so it would be that one, the smaller one down there that already has it stacked.
Well,
So
they
what was-
could make Elmont Station bigger if they didn't have the antlers. That's our point. So what I'd like to recommend is the lower one, the one on the right, the smaller one, leave the antlers off, increase the size of Elmont Station, and leave the stacked wording to the right of it. On the larger sign, again, leave the antlers off so you can make those letters bigger and stack the Crafty Foods and Drink to the right of it. That's what I would.
I think that's a good
suggest.
compromise
Yeah.
because that leaves Elmont Station larger and more legible, and it also allows them to have the descriptor over there, Crafty Food and Drink. And I think it's a good compromise.
I don't think
Everyone,
the antlers add anything. I mean, it makes me think of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and Elkmont, so I think it really would be to their advantage to take those out.
It's a little distracting, and I don't think people realize they're antlers. I think the K being backwards is enough confusion
But I agree.
myself.
right,
So, I don't know, but I'd like to make a motion
okay.
that we eliminate the antlers, and on the bigger sign, stack the Crafty Food and Drink to the right.
I think for this one, the motion has to be just for the South Campbell Station Road sign, right? 'Cause
Oh, we're
we
doing
got-
them both
Yes,
separate?
the
Yeah, we
next
have
one
two
is the
separate
separate one.
ones, so you'll
Okay.
have to just,
All right.
on the small one here, what would be your motion for that?
To eliminate the antlers and increase the size of the Elmont Station letters.
And then Crafty Food and Drink would stay there.
Now, wait a minute, is that the
We're
one you're
doing
gonna
this one.
see, the Kingston Pike
This is,
one?
we're doing this one first, and then next we're gonna do this one.
And that's gonna be move it to the side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just talking about the smaller sign first.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion by Alderman Pinchot. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Marlowe. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so now moving on to, I think this is probably what got us confused, because when you look at items C and D, they both say 103 South Campbell Station Road.
All right.
But the one is for Kingston Pike now that we're looking at.
Yes, yeah, the
Okay.
business is, their actual address is 103 South Campbell Station, but that center has the ground sign at Campbell Station, and then the second one is up there at Kingston Pike. And it's the same artwork, it's just the one that's on the left side here.
Okay, so you want to make the motion on that one?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that on the larger sign that's located on Kingston Pike, that the antlers be eliminated, the Elmont Station letters be increased, and the Crafty Food and Drink be stacked to the right, as far over as we can get it.
All right, so we have a motion by Alderman Pinchot. Do we have a second?
Second.
By Ms. Stowe. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving down to Pro Source Home Buyers, 11002 Kingston Pike.
Okay, ProSource Home Buyers is a tenant panel to be added to an existing ground-mounted sign. The proposed tenant panel appears to be legible, and staff can recommend approval. And if you see it on the sign, their image is a little bit difficult to see. It's on the right side, and it's the second from the bottom,
And to me, it fits.
above the voice state.
Yeah, to me, it fits and it's legible.
I have a question. Why are the three on the left so much darker than the ones on the right? Does that have to do with color, the thickness, or is that just a bad picture?
I think it's a combination of both, because I think the Creative Hair one and the Reliant Title are both thicker letters. because they have smaller or less words. And then the picture also has that bright sun on the bright side.
Yeah, and then they're trying to put, like I superimpose the pro source on there, and sometimes that works better than others.
Well, it's legible. I don't have any problem with it. I just like to see it darker. If, is it because of the brushed silver? Panels brushed silver, I take it. Okay, so what are the letters? Does this say?
The letters are day-night vinyl, so they will be black.
Okay, well, there you go.
Oh, okay. So it's just hard to tell that from this picture.
Yes.
Okay.
So they may actually show up darker on the
Yeah, that's what
actual
I'm
sign
thinking.
versus the.
I have no problem with the sign.
Any further comments, questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move for approval, as is.
Motion to approve by Alderman Pinchuk. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Marlowe. I think he was just ahead of you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving down to the Grove at Boyd Station subdivision sign, north entrance, located off McPhee Road. Okay, Holly?
Okay, this one is a permanent ground-mounted sign. They're requesting approval for 2 permanent ground-mounted signs located at the subdivision's northernmost entrance, which is at Iron Plow Drive, located off of McPhee Road. That is a new road. The plan calls for 2 identical entrance signs and supporting ornamental wall structures located at the corners of the entrance road. Each sign is 20 square feet in area for a total of 40 square feet as permitted by the ordinance. The proposed signs are located within an open space lot that will eventually be controlled by the development's HOA. Proposed landscaping around the signs and ornamental walls is included. The staff recommends approval of the sign subject to an as-built survey being required to document that the installed sign meets all setbacks and other applicable requirements. And this first page here is the landscaping, which is a little bit difficult to see. I can try and. So that the circle there is that roundabout that's at McPhee Road where the Iron Plow Road will be coming in. And then they have the signs on either side of it with the landscaping around it.
The landscaping plans are always the hardest ones to read. That's the
Yeah, they're tiny.
biggest part of it. Do you know what the plants are around it?
Double check, I have that.
Got them on the
printed.
second page, or the next page down, I think. An elm is the tree.
I would say zooming in would help, but it might not. I know Bart had discussion with them about their plants that they were putting around,
About what?
about the plants that they were putting around the base.
I've got the plants here.
You can see it.
The trees.
Page are you on?
What page? Let's see. Well, I zoomed out. Hang on.
Is it the one with the
2 of
plant
4.
legend?
Yeah. Landscape area, that one.
That one?
So I guess what I was kind of getting at are these are entrance signs, and the plants look like they were going more behind and beside, so that it would not eventually grow up and obscure the sign. Is that the way you see
Yeah.
it?
The trees look like they're all purposely behind the sign for that reason.
Mhm.
And then there are some ground cover that look to be carpet bugle, blue chip juniper, and then the grass is the majority, and it's a drought tolerant fescue. That's almost like this polka dot all over that
Okay.
area.
So it sounds like they did a good job of landscaping it without doing something that would obscure the
Yeah.
view after a certain amount of time. Okay.
Yes, I think their idea is to keep the trees mainly behind it, but still have trees in the area. And then I know one of the things that they were doing is a ground cover. It's the chocolate chip carpet bugle is what it's called, and that's one of the primary things that they're doing. And they wanted to do that to keep from having weeds growing up in between these three little walls.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Would you go to that next page? No, next
The
one.
one with the,
That one. Hold that for just a second.
what did you say, sorry?
I just wanted to look at this for a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Obviously, it's externally illuminated. And those look like the type of lights that are shielded and would spotlight the sign itself and not create any additional lighting effect. So that'd be good.
It looks like a well-thought-through plan.
And could you go to the last page? That's the actual sign, right? I mean, it's very easy to read. So that's all brick on all those three panels. Do you know, are they doing anything else near this sign that would be community, the mailbox area or anything else? And do you know that is it all going to blend in and match with the same?
I don't believe the mailboxes are over by this area, but they do know to have things blend.
Okay.
I don't believe this is the main entrance. The main entrance is going to be on Boyd Station. This is on McPhee.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, to me, it looks good.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll motion for approval.
We have to add the subject to in there.
Yeah,
Subject to,
the as-built survey.
the what?
The as-built survey.
As-built survey.
Mhm. All right, we have a motion to approve by Mr. Marlowe. Do we have a second?
Second.
I think Ms. Stowe got that
I
one.
think she got it.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so the next and the last ground-mounted sign applications for Farragut Station Development, Unified Development Master Sign, 11320 Outlet Drive for Topgolf. One that I think we have already kind of looked at, provided a little bit of comment to as well.
Yes, you guys looked at this one in October. This type of master sign for larger unified developments is specifically provided for in the Outlet Drive Regional Entertainment and Employment Zoning District. The district provides various requirements for these signs, which the plan and proposal appear to meet. The sign will actually be located on the Score Hotel site, which is part of the larger Farragut Station development area. The proposed sign appears to be compliant with the town zoning ordinance. However, staff would like to point out that the plans indicate the sign is intended to be located just at the required setbacks, which is 10 feet from the side property line and 20 feet from the interstate right-of-way. And these minimum setbacks must be maintained and are measured from the furthest protrusion of the sign toward the property and right-of-way lines. Staff can recommend approval subject to an as-built survey being required to document that the setbacks and other applicable requirements are met.
I think this is something we've provided a little guidance to, as you said, in earlier weeks and months. To me, it looks what I remember, and given where it's located, I have no issue with it.
And if you wanted to see the map where it is located is here. So that is actually on the Score property, and then on the left side of this picture would be the Topgolf property, and it's 10 feet from the property line on the side, and then 20 from the interstate right-of-way.
Can you go back to the sign? There was a question when we first reviewed this in October as to how many businesses might be on this sign. Because there's room for Score and possibly one or two other businesses, right? Or did they decide only 3 total?
I thought it was 3 total,
Okay, I couldn't
which is
remember.
what I see here, because there was Score, there was going to be a restaurant, right? And then Topgolf. I'm sure there could be other businesses, but that was the 3 that I was thinking.
I believe this is what we saw before, but there was a discussion is what if there's a 4th business?
Mhm.
How is that going to affect?
I think in October, they may have had one that had 4 or 5
They did.
as one of the options, but they ended up going with the 3 was
So
what they were
this is
going to
what they
focus
want
on.
approved?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other discussion? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll move for approval, subject to an as-built survey being required to document that the setbacks and other applicable requirements are met.
We have a motion by Alderman Pinchot. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Morrow, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so under the other business, there was some continued review and recommendation of potential amendments to the ordinance and discussion of wall signs. We started this review with Bart, and he is not able to be with us tonight, and he has requested that we table this so that he can be here for the discussion, unless you have anything else to add. That was my understanding, correct?
Yes, the only thing is if you guys have thought of any questions or anything that you would like staff to discuss, that you could let us know. Either you can tell us now, or if you want to reach out to us, we can.
So I think one of the things we probably have to do here is have a motion to table this to the next meeting and approve that. In addition, if anyone has any questions that would like to be sent back with Holly to Bart for the next meeting, now's the time to do that as well, I suppose.
So you want a motion first?
Right.
I'll move to table this item until the next meeting.
A motion by Alderman Pinchot to table it. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Stowe. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item tabled. Any other questions or comments on this section or I guess questions on this section that need to be sent back?
I guess we surely don't want to slow the process down.
No.
You know, we want to move things along for our businesses, but again, there was discussion at the last meeting that whether or not this board should have some say in this matter, so.
There was, and I would say that if nothing else, my question would be, could we, and this is something that happened years ago on this board, item 2, instead of ground-mounted sign applications, item 2 would be wall-mounted signs approved between the last meeting and the current meeting. And it was a list of who was approved and maybe where they were located and all that. And it allowed this board to ask any questions or make any comments. Now, they were already approved, but we could at least ask staff questions about it. And I think I would like for us to at least have that list so we know.
And it is my understanding that we are going to start doing that list regardless of if we make changes, like if you guys are to
Okay.
do the approvals or not.
I think that would be good.
Well, the question I have is, do we want, as soon as it comes to the staff, should we see it then? Not after they make a decision, but see it while they're processing it? We see it so that maybe we could feed some questions or some information to them during the decision-making process? How was it handled before? Was it sent to this board immediately or after it was approved?
After it was approved. It was wall signs approved from the last meeting, and it's just the March meeting up to the current meeting in April. It would be a list of those approved during then. I'm not sure to answer your question. I have a question. To answer your question, I have really a question. can we do that without having a public meeting on it? Can we provide that kind of comment back on a wall sign as a board?
Good point.
I'm not sure that we can.
Oh, that's
I
something
mean,
we,
they could
See,
show
that's
us
kind of where the
list,
debate
but I'm
is
not sure.
because it would probably have to come to the board
Right.
and be a public meeting if you were doing input on it.
So they could probably provide a list to us somehow, some way, maybe, but I don't think we could really do much with it except have the
Gotcha.
knowledge.
well, you've been on the board the longest. Were here when it was handled that way.
Right.
Are you okay going back to that, or would you like to see a little more?
Well, I am okay going back to that because I think given the nature of this board and what we do, I think it's important that we know about all signs that go up.
Yep.
I think we need that information because someone may ask us about it or make a comment, at least we have knowledge of it. So I think it would be nice to have that. Beyond that, I don't want to slow the process down. Often the wall-mounted sign can go up faster than a ground-mounted sign. We see that happen, I think, on a regular basis because of the complication of the ground-mounted sign, so.
And usually their focus is their wall sign because they want it on their building before they open.
Right. I think this is probably still a good debate to have next month when
Yeah.
Bart's here. But I can't think of any other questions to send back.
Well, I'm kind of confused a little bit. Did you say that most of those are approved before they come to us?
The wall signs are approved by staff.
By
They don't
staff.
come to us at all.
They don't come to us at all.
For
Okay.
the ground signs, staff looks at them and makes sure that they're compliant with the ordinances and then brings them to you guys.
So how much input does our board actually have to the decision?
Currently, on the wall-mounted sign, we don't have any input.
Okay.
But that's what the debate is, or the discussion is to see if you guys want them brought to the board or if they should be done by staff.
So if it was not brought to us, it would be approved only by elected people, right?
No, but
Staff.
staff.
Usually me and Bart.
Okay.
And Mark, so.
It's-
I got
Which
you.
is the way it's working now. They're approving all of those and not coming to us. So,
Are you involved in that process?
Yes. I actually do most of the wall signs.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you feel if we got involved? Would that just muddy the water, slow things down, or?
Well, I like doing wall signs, so, and I'm a very picky person when it comes to signs, so I might actually be more critical than you guys are. So-
That's good to hear.
okay.
It just seemed odd that we're doing only the monument type signs, ground mounted signs, instead of the wall mounted signs. And I think that's the point. But as long as we get some kind of feedback as to what's been approved.
Because even with feedback, even if a sign has already been approved and you have the feedback, you can make comments on it that might be for the next sign.
There you go.
Right?
Right.
And that's what we always had the opportunity to do before. And it sort of disappeared from the agenda. I think I would like to see that back regardless.
Yeah, and that, like I said, I'm pretty sure we can make that happen
Okay?
for future meetings. I think the biggest thing with I forgot where I was going with that.
All right, any other comments regarding this item? Okay, is there anything else that we need to discuss tonight?
The only other thing that I can think of that you guys brought up at the end of last year was your stream cleaning. But
Yeah,
that's not actually on the agenda, but maybe just think about that for next time, and we may put it on the agenda to see.
The snakes are back out.
yeah, we usually do that when it's cooler. When it's cooler. All right, well, if that's it, then we will adjourn this month. Thank you all very much. See you next month.